Did President Trump threaten Iraq if they made a deal with China? Is that what I'm hearing here?
According to a Beirut-based news organization claiming to cite deputy officials who were present in the parliamentary session where this vote was made by the Iraqis to informally basically expel U.S. forces, yes. Not just that, Doc, but to assassinate the Iraqi prime minister.
Can we show some of this documentation that we have?
Yes, number 9 for control. This is the website, okay? The website itself is called Illuminations. That's the translation of it. They are an Arab political, cultural, intellectual website, so their only description of this. And they cover stories in the region. Their writer is named Musa Abbas. It's reportedly him sitting there with one of the actual members of the Iraqi parliament, the Speaker of the Iraqi Council of Representatives, from my understanding, Mohammed A. Halbousi. This would explain the odd developments, and not just the letter, the unofficial mistaken letter, but more so the speed at which the U.S. forces are being asked to leave and that the Chinese and other countries are moving into the region to try to replace them. According to this news outlet, again, it's Illuminations based out of Beirut in Lebanon, the Speaker of the Iraqi Council of Representatives, he basically attended a meeting. Obviously, it was a pre-meeting to the parliamentary session. They went into the parliament session with the two opposing sides, the Shia and the Sunni lawmakers. And according to reports, the Sunni lawmakers and the Kurdish lawmakers, they basically did not involve themselves in this vote. They stepped out of it. They did not vote, and thus the Shia representatives carried the weight of the vote, and it passed.
Right.
According to this news outlet, there's much more to this.
Okay.
According to the news outlet, this was being televised. This was a live, basically session. Anyone could have watched it if you speak Arabic and you're in the country.
So they were televising the vote on the expulsion of U.S. troops from Iraq.
Yes, exactly. And as part of this, the Prime Minister himself, Abdel Mahdi, was present. Well, at one point in this session, according to this outlet, Abdel Mahdi stepped down from the podium and said, "Turn off the live stream." That's according to this outlet. Turn off the live stream, turn off all video. And at this point, a conversation begun, a very off-cut, basically public conversation described by this outlet begun between the two opposing parties. According to this outlet, they are quoting the Prime Minister directly here. This is what was said. "The Americans are the ones who destroyed the country and wreaked havoc on it. They refused to complete building the electrical system and infrastructure projects. They have bargained for the reconstruction of Iraq in exchange for giving up 50% of Iraqi oil imports." 50% of Iraqi oil imports. That's the main source of basically their export here. You know?
Protection fee.
Yes. So he says here, "I refused and I decided to go to China and concluded an important and strategic agreement with it. Today, President Trump is trying to cancel this important agreement." He goes on to say in this article, "After my return from China, President Trump called me and asked me to cancel the agreement. So I also refused, and he threatened me with massive demonstrations that would topple me. Indeed, the demonstrations started, and then President Trump called, threatening to escalate in the event of non-cooperation and responding to his wishes, so that the third party, Marine snipers, would target the demonstrators and security forces and kill them from the highest structures, and the U.S. Embassy in an attempt to pressure me and submit to his wishes and cancel the China agreement." Now, he's saying here that the president called him directly on the secure line,
right,
said to him that you're going to capitulate to ending this trade or this basically agreement of sorts with China, and you're going to do this, or I'm going to start a riot in your country. The riots are already existing. They're going to turn into potentially the storming of an embassy or the shutdown of the Capitol, which is what he's saying he saw, according to this outlet. Now, Doc, if that was all it was, that would still be pretty scandalous.
That's pretty shocking right there. So
it doesn't end there. So he goes on to say here, "So I did not respond and submitted my resignation, and the Americans still insist to this day on canceling the China agreement. And when the defense minister said that who kills the demonstrators, the third party, President Trump called me," this is again reportedly the Prime Minister of Iraq saying, "immediately threatening to physically liquidate me and the defense minister if we talk about the third party," which is the Marine snipers.
Wow. Now, we're talking about the Prime Minister of Iraq saying this off camera to the Shia members that were in Parliament.
And the Sunni members, all the members, according to this outlet. And this man has access to the government. This man, the writer, Mr. Musa, he has spoken with the Speaker of the House. He's been pictured with him. He's a known journalist in the country. If this is true, Doc, as you already know, it's huge, but there'll be evidence of it. There should be records of calls, just like with Volodymyr Zelensky. How many people were listening in on that phone call, Doc?
From reports, it sounds like dozens of people.
The entire house was, apparently. And you look at this, the Iraqi call. Was it possible military leaders were listening to us? We heard, obviously, that Secretary Pompeo, a representative from Vice President Pence, was listening on the Ukraine call. It's fair to basically deduct that this call was a party line, if it existed. So if it's true, there will be witnesses to it. And if it's true, Doc, the sitting leader of the United States publicly threatened to kill the Iraqi prime minister if he didn't capitulate to U.S., honestly, bullying, imperialist demands.
Now, of course, this is a shocking statement to put out there, Edward. I mean, this isn't something that you just, say, hey, the president threatened to physically eliminate somebody one-on-one. I mean, that's a pretty shocking statement there.